Welcome all of you. Today we are going to discussing about the morphology of birds. Before coming to the topic, I hope that all you are aware about birds and all you have watched various types of birds. Can I have a question? What is a bird? What makes a bird a bird? What are the unique characteristics of a bird? The first unique feature observing on their body is feather, and the second is their beak or bill and their feet. Another unique feature is their color. For a clean and neat definition, we can say birds are warm-blooded egg-laying feathered bipeds having bill or beak. These unique characteristics make a bird a bird. The body of the bird is a streamlined, spindle-shaped structure designed to offer the minimum resistance to wind, especially in the case of species that take to the skies more often. We are having more than 10,000 species of birds in the world, out of which almost 1,300 species are available in India and its subcontinent. The birds generally occur in various temperatures from -50 degrees Celsius to +50 degrees Celsius. Their different characteristics are warm-blooded, body covered with feathers. They are having thin and hollow bones, their forelimbs modified as wings, having teethless beak. They can fly, swim and walk. They are having different calls or sings differently, such as based on food availability, mating, etc. These are the major structure of a bird. Now, I wish to show some commonly found species which are observed around us in our day-to-day life. The first picture is a house sparrow, which is quite often seen nowadays around us due to various environmental reasons. The second one on the top right is generally known as crow. For an ornithologist, it is a house crow. The picture on bottom left is a rock pigeon, which are abundantly seen around us and become a problem to us as these species generally prefer to sit on the window shades of our houses. The picture on the bottom right is commonly used to say as parrot, however for an ornithologist it is a rose-ringed parakeet. The picture which is showing in a circular form is known as black kite. I hope that all of you have seen these species once in your entire life. Whether all these species look similar? Obviously the answer is a big no. The first unique feature we are observing is their color, right? The second thing is their different body structure. All these birds are having different bill or beaks. If you are going much closer view, these are having different eye colors, right? Now have a look on these species. The top two species are crows, but left one is not having fully black body and having light gray color on some parts of the body. The bottom two species are minnow, but both these are also not looking similar. Right. Here comes the importance of study of morphology of birds. What do you mean by morphology of birds? The study of external body parts of a bird is known as morphology of birds. Why morphology of birds is important? The study of morphology is important to identify the exact species of birds. Various species are named based on their body part and their color on the body parts. We can easily identify the habitat of birds by their body parts. The birds generally adopted their body parts based on the habitat. For example, camouflage feather colors of a francolin species. Now we will look for the descriptive parts of a bird. Please have a look on the displayed image. The picture showing the different body parts of a bird. Mainly bird is having three parts. They are head, body and tail and feet. Like humans, the body of a bird can be separated into the dorsal, that is the upper parts from the forehead to the tip of the tail, and the ventral, that is the underparts from the forehead to the tip of the tail, and the ventral, that is the underparts from the chin to the tip of the tail. Now I will explain each body parts of a body starting from the dorsal side. We are starting from the bill. The bill varies greatly in size and structure, largely as a result of their diet and foraging habits. Other than for feeding, the bill is also used for preening, nest build, courtship and fighting. The bill tends to be referred to as beak for species that have short or stubby bills like in parrots, barbets and sparrows. Next is forehead. Like humans, birds are also having forehead region from the base of the upper mandible to approximately above the middle of the eyes. For example, we can see the red color on the forehead of coppersmith barbet. After forehead, next is the crown region from forehead to the beginning of the cervical vertebrae of the neck. We can easily distinguish the ashy color crown on ashy-crowned sparrowlark. On the crown, few birds are also having the crest, a showy tuft of feathers at the back of the head, such as in bulbuls and peafowl. Below the crown, birds are having ear covers, the small feathers behind the bird's eye which cover the ear opening, which are also referred to as ear patch or auriculars. For example, we can see white-colored ear covers on Himalayan bulbul. Coming down after crown, the next body part is nape. For humans we call it as neck. Generally refers to the upper part of the hind neck below the crown. For example, black colored on the neck portion of Eurasian collared dove. Then comes mantle, the plumage on the back, and folded wings when of the same color as in gulls. After that, back portion, then rump and the upper tail covers. For example, for rump we can see the white color on white-rumped vulture. The detailed structure of wings and tails will be studied on the following sessions. From the ventral side, starting from chin, that is the V-shaped area lying just below the lower bill. After that, next is throat. Like humans, birds are also having throat. For example, white-throated kingfisher. The next body part is the breast. For example, we can see the white color on white-breasted water hen. The next portion is the flank, the sides of the body of the bird between the margins of the wings and sides of the belly. The next part is the thigh, the joining portion of leg to the body. The next is vent, the feathers in the region of the cloaca. For example, we can see the red-collared portion of the red-vented bulbul. The final part of is the undertail covers. The detailed structure of feet and undertail will be studied on the following sessions. To understand the body parts clearly, a different colored picture is shown in the slide. You can go through this and see the different body parts named in different colors. Now we will discuss the detailed portion of the head of a bird. The first part is the beak. As we discussed earlier, the most important function of a bill is for feeding. Also, they use bill for nest making, self-defense and courtship. Bird are having upper mandible and lower mandible. These shape and size of mandibles will be different in each species. However, they are having few similarities based on the habitat and their food. There is a structure on upper bill seen in some species such as hornbills are known as cast. The dividing line between the upper and lower mandible bills are known as commissure. The fleshy, naked covering at the base of upper bill that covers the external nostrils, generally prominent in raptors. For example, yellow color portion near to beak in black kite. The dorsal ridge of upper bill is known as colon. We can easily identify this on jungle crow. The fleshy edge of bill at mouth opening, especially prominent in nestlings, is called the gape. The extent of the gape in relation to the eye is used in distinguishing between some similar species, for example Indian spotted eagle and greater spotted eagle, and great egret and intermediate egret. Different types of beaks are shown in the picture. We can get more clarity on the difference in beaks based on the function by seeing this picture. In the large majority of birds, It is the bill that reflects on the diet and feeding habits of birds. Bills come in an assortment of shapes and sizes, suited to the bird's diet and feeding behavior. Unrelated species often have similar bills to perform the same feeding function. Some birds have such specialized feeding habits that their bills are adapted to perform only one unusual feeding function. Other bills perform multiple feeding functions. Various types of bills are shown below. Now coming the portion of the eyes. Birds have the most highly evolved eyes in the animal kingdom that can function both as a telescope and a magnifying glass with equal efficiency. The laterally placed eyes of most non-predatory birds give them a wider total view, which helps them in spotting predators. Another feature of the bird's eye is the presence of an ectotating membrane that serves as a third eyelid moving across the cornea, keeping it moist. In some aquatic birds like divers and cormorants, the ectotating membrane has a central window-like area which acts like a pair of contact lens or goggles, protecting the eye during swimming. The color of the iris, the pigmented circle surrounding the pupil, can be an important distinguishing feature between similar species. For example, in scops owls. Bare, circular, colored skin around the eye, or a circular patch of contrasting colored feathers surrounding the eye is known as eye ring or orbital ring. For example, we can see Oriental white-eye bird. The eye line extends back along the side of the head from the posterior angle of the eye is known as the eye strip. The area between the front of the eyes and base of the bill on each side of the face is known as lobe. The streak of distinctly colored feathers immediately above the eye seen in many birds is known as supercilium. Their presence or absence and extent is important in the identification of especially warbler species. The supercilium is also referred to as brow in some field guides, a streak extending backwards and downwards from the base of the bill, above the molar region, as seen in the bearded redling, is known as moustachial stripe. A streak, below the moustachial stripe and submoustachial stripe that extends from the base of the lower bill to the side of the neck is known as molar stripe. Now we will discuss the detailed structure of wings of a bird. Mainly the wings are classified as upper wing and underwing. Wings are the main part of the bird that allows it to fly. That doesn't mean all birds that having wings can fly. For example, the flightless penguin. Generally, wings are covered by different layers of feathers. The detailed study of feathers will be carried out in following sessions. Birds fly the same way as an airplane actually operates. Now we see the detailed structure of a underwing. Auxiliaries are joining portion of the wing to a body, or we can call the number of primary feathers varies in different species. Next is secondaries. Secondary feathers are also helps the bird for their flight. The grooves between the primaries are known as notch. The various parts of underwing is as shown in the picture. In order to get more clarification on underwing, please see on this picture. Call it as armpit. Primaries are the exterior feathers of a wing structure. Generally, primaries are the big feathers observed in birds. These feathers will help the bird for their flight. The colors of various feathers varies according to various species. This will be more prominent in raptors, and the same feature help us to identify the various raptors. Now we will see the upper wing parts of the bird. The portion of the wing which is joining to the body is known as scapulars. The feathers arising from the thumb bone is known as a lula, or we can say it is as pasted wing. For example, we can see the white color on black-shouldered kite. Feathers covering the base of flight and tail feathers, and also the ears are known as covers. The covers that cover the forewing on the upper wing of the secondaries are known as lesser covers. Those on the hind wing of the secondaries are greater covers, and the ones lying between them are the middle covers. The covers that lie on the underside of these covers bear the tag of underwing, viz., lesser underwing covers, median underwing covers and greater underwing covers. The covers that form the contour of the upper wing of the primaries are known as the primary covers, while those on the underside are clearly divisible into lesser under primary covers, median under primary covers and greater under primary covers. For getting the identification more clearly, please see this picture. Also have a look on this picture. As we discussed earlier, feathers are the unique feature of birds and they serve an amazing variety of functions including flight, thermoregulations, swimming, protection, hygiene, waterproofing, tactile sensation, support, camouflage, visual communication, and mating. Let's see the structure of a feather. The portion of feather joining to the body is a hollow shaft, or we can say it as calamus. After that, downy barbs, after feather, vein and the rachis. The closer view of the vein is shown in the picture, which consisting of barb and barbules. The more closer version of the vein is also shown on the right top portion of the picture. Now we will discuss about different types of feathers. Primary and secondary feathers help the bird for their flight. These are the two types of big feathers which are observed on the bird. Covers and contour feathers are giving aid to streamlining and for the aerodynamic shape of a bird. Semi-plumb and down feathers are giving insulation or thermoregulation to the bird. Filoplume are the helping the birds for sensory function and also help the birds for keeping their feathers in order. Bristles are generally observed around the eyes and mouths of birds. Most wild birds molt heavily in the spring and fall. Between seasons they may continuously replace old or lost feathers. Over a 1-year period, every feather is replaced with a new one. Molting occurs in a gradual, bilateral, symmetrical sequence, so that the bird is not left bald and unable to fly. The primary function of molting is to replace the worn feathers from the body, and the secondary function is to augment breeding plumage. During molting, birds requires high energy. See the molting process of a bird. The picture is showing the molting of a duck. You can clearly appreciate the process of molting by seeing this. Here you can see species with molted feathers. The first picture is an egret species which turn their body color to yellowish feathers for breeding. The color variation in purple sunbird is also shown in the picture. Different structure of tails. Now we will look for the detailed structure of a tail and different structure of tails in birds. The tail feathers of a bird serve primarily as a rudder and brake in flight. Collectively they are known as retraces. These feathers are attached to the last bone of the ventral column called the pygostyle, which is formed by the fusion of several bones during embryonic growth. Above and below the base of the tail feathers are the tail covers. In some species, the undertail covers are colored differently, as in the reed-vented bulbul. Every time you will not see birds in sitting position. For example, house swifts can fly continuously in air. They use to catch the insects while in flying. Hence, identification of tail will somehow help you to identify the species in field. For example, we can see the black kite as having a forked tail while flying. For identification of vulture, we used to observe the graduated tail shape. For buzzard, we used to observe round tails. For hawks, we used to observe long tail with square shape while flying. Detailed structure of feet. The legs of birds, as in the case of the bills, vary greatly in size and structure that are largely related to their habitat, diet and foraging habits. The main parts of feet are thigh, which is also found in humans. Birds are also having generally 4 toes. They are inner toe, middle toe, outer toe and hind toe. The underpart of claw is known as sole. Tarsus are the bare long shank of the bird, made up of the tessometatarsus bones. This part corresponds to the foot of human sans the toes. The exposed joint on the leg below the feathers is actually the heel and not the knee as apparent. The knee is hidden in the feathers. Different types of bird foot are shown in this picture. You can see the various shape of foot of bird based on the habitat and behavior of bird. The bird which are climbing on the tree are having two toes forward and two toes backward which help them for climbing the trees. For example, we can the toes of woodpeckers. They are having sharp nail for digging into the wood. The swimming birds are having a webbed toes. These help them for swimming and paddle through water. For example, the feet of ducks. The foot of emus help the bird to run very fast. Generally they are having strong 3 toes. The perching birds having 3 forward toes and 1 hind toe which help them to perch on trees. The grasping birds like hawks having grasping shaped toes. Mostly these types of toes were observed on the predatory birds. Here a few toe shapes of birds are shown. After studying these you can easily appreciate the birds while observing in the fields. Some original pictures shown for you for greater appreciation. I hope that you have got few points about the morphology of birds and you will definitely appreciate the same while seeing the birds in the fields. Please observe each birds very clearly before identifying. These minor tips which we have discussed during this session will help you to identify the species in fields. Hope you have a wonderful birding in future. With this I am concluding this session. Thank you.